Welcome, 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 everybody, to Make It Make Sense, to the week with Monique, to the week in review, all the things. We're like a good, healthy smash right now, coming to you to give you what we promise to give you every single time. We promise to give you the news you can use, absent the nonsense, and to make it make sense. Areas where you need clarity, where there may be confusion. We're here to talk to you about the things that matter and, with experts as necessary. This is that time at the end of the week where we talk about that one or two things out of the entire week of news that you absolutely need to know. One or two things, maybe a few more, but we're talking to you about those things like if you could just put everything else on a shelf and say, I'll get to you later, these are the things that matter. And I got to tell you, this week, because there were so many things that were important, I did something, if you guys have been following me for any period of time, and for you newbies, elimination, I got to tell you, I phone a friend. I strongly believe in phoning a friend. So I reached out to some of my favorite, very newsy, very following the news, tracking the news, creating content around the news, knowing everybody who's making the news. I reached out to a few of those people and said, what was the one story for you this week? I'm happy to report for a few of them, it was something we had already reported, but I'm going to give you the update on it. But then there were a couple where I was like, oh, blind spot, blind spot. But let me tell you what the first one was. Let me see. Ah, yes. So I had two actually that were very close. Sari Beth Rosenberg, my favorite New York City school teacher and content creator, said Epstein, Epstein, all things Epstein. And Suzanne Lambert, my favorite critiquer of all Republican, shady, gritty, horrible makeup trends, comedian extraordinaire and Politico, said, yes, Epstein, but not just Epstein. Trump being told in May that he was on the Epstein list. And obviously, we've covered both of those. We've covered those this week. We've talked to you about what's going on with the Epstein files and the fact that they're not being released because there's something in there that now Trump and the White House and all of the people who are surrounding him, who are not MAGA, by the way. Did you know that part? Did you know that Trump is not MAGA? Like, MAGA is his support arm, that's his base, but he's not MAGA. He doesn't care about the things that MAGA cares about. He cares about himself. And so he's got these people surrounding him, some of them who are aligned with MAGA and MAGA concerns, some of them who are aligned with like Daughters of the Federation and what they're concerned about, some of them who are old Tea Party members, some of them who are other things, but in the inner circle, it's all Trump radio all the time, my friends. And when they figured out, to Suzanne's point, the story of the week, that, bruh, you too are in the papers that we have promised your base, ginned up your base, dragged your base to the polls, saying that we're going to produce. You too, my friend, are in the files, which I don't know, unless his memory is failing him. He should have known. He should have known he was in the files. He knows who he is. He knows what he does. But so once he got that official word back in May, that's the Wall Street Journal reporting, owned by Rupert Murdoch, the Wall Street Journal reporting, is that the DOJ, Pam Bondi, informed him, you're in there, and multiple times. And now we won't be releasing anything else because this involves victim statements and victim detailed information and impact and et cetera. And we couldn't possibly. Wasn't that always the case? Wasn't this Epstein case always about uh, him being a pedophile and sex trafficking? young girls and at the aid of Ghislaine Maxwell. Wasn't that always what this was about? Wasn't it always going to be difficult to release the Epstein files without unnecessarily, unlawfully affecting, invading the privacy of, further injuring and assaulting victims who had already been injured, criminalized, assaulted? So that's not new. But that's what they're saying now about why they can't release the files. And lo and behold, here's the other update. Todd Blanche apparently went and talked to inmate Maxwell this week. Deputy AG Blanche meeting for second day with Ghislaine Maxwell. DOJ meets with Ghislaine Maxwell as pressure to release Epstein files builds. The convicted sex trafficker and former Jeffrey Epstein companion initiated the meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche as she appeals her conviction, sources say. I think we are in the latest version of Let's Make a Deal. I was on the Don Lemon Show Hot Topics this morning, and he was asking me about my thoughts about why somebody high up in the DOJ would be going to meet this incarcerated felon, Ghislaine Maxwell. And I said, well, could it have something to do with the fact that the current occupant of the White House realizes he's in the files, and that could be a problem with his base, not with going to jail because the Supreme Court already took care of that, but with his base. So Ghislaine Maxwell is over here wanting a pardon. Trump's over here with pardon palooza powers. Her silence, his ability to give her freedom. And now they send a higher up in the Department of Justice to go meet with her. Why? To ask her what? To get grand jury testimony approval? I don't think so. I don't. We'll be watching that story. Another story that we've been covering this week, that my dear friend Kenny said that it would too raw, too real for the rest of y'all. But Kenny said that despite all of the Epstein coverage, to him, Texas gerrymandering is the most important story of the week. And I agree. We've covered it every single day for the past 5-6 days. Since last Friday, we've been covering it. Since we were letting you know that there was going to be a special session. Since my last week with Monique on Don's channel, we've been letting you know that this is the story, because the GOP, Trump and his henchmen, Harmeet Dillon, and the GOP are trying to steal the 2026 elections before they get here, y'all. He says, somebody give me 5 seats, because he knows that they're failing. He knows they haven't kept up with any of their promises. And he knows, as we just discussed in the last story, the base is eroding. So I'm going to need these 5 seats. Where do you get them? Texas, that's gerrymandered to hell already. Texas, where there's already an active case, Blue Light versus Abbott, regarding the gerrymandering from the 2021 decennial redistricting, which drew the craziest maps known to man. Now, the federal government is saying, look again, you can make it even crazier. You can make it make less sense. You can oppress more minorities in Texas, the state with the most blacks in the country. All the black people are in Texas, y'all. But we got 4 members of Congress who are black. Does that make sense? How do you do that legally, lawfully? You don't. But so now we're in special session, and they're calling for it again. From the Texas Tribune, Texans Democrats condemn GOP redistricting plans at the first public hearing. And this was from Texas Tribune just yesterday. At the first of at least 7 hearings, members of the public aired grievances about the unusual mid-decade redistricting effort. So if you are just catching up, go to my Week with Monique. Last week, I explained what redistricting is, the difference between redistricting, which is supposed to be good every 10 years, and gerrymandering, which is what we're doing now, asking to redistrict early, asking to redistrict when you're already being sued, asking to redistrict again when what you did last time was bogus, right? But go look at that, and then you'll understand why they're saying it's unusual when they just did it, that they're now trying to do it again. But this is Trump's America. We're in a little fiefdom with a wannabe king, totalitarian, autocrat regime. And when he needs 5 votes, people start spinning around trying to give him the 5 votes. So that's where we are. That is active, that is ongoing. We're going to be bringing you that story over and over again. There is a rally taking place if you are anywhere near Austin today, Friday, the 25th. There's a rally taking place today. I believe it's at 6:30 p.m. in Austin, courthouse steps or Capitol steps. And then there's another one taking place tomorrow. You can go to the feeds of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett or the feed of Beto O'Rourke, and figure out what's going on there. There are lots of people who are involved who are on the ground. We will be bringing you this story over and over again because our democracy is on the line. And there are schools of thought. Do we need to do whatever's necessary by any means necessary in order to make sure that people who have some sense and who are not white supremacists regain power? Or are we losing our moral high ground by buying into the way that they do things and trying to do it as well as they do it? We can never be as criminally criminal as them. I don't think we should try because I don't think we're good at it. I think we have a spine. I think we have ethics. I think we have God. And so it's probably going to stop us. But that doesn't mean that we can't do what is within the law to do. That's my 2 cents so far on that. Last story of the week. And I got to tell you, I got gobsmacked by it. I got gobsmacked by it because I'm thinking about this thing and I'm thinking about that thing and I'm thinking about the other thing. But I asked my dear friend, Booker Square, Elizabeth Booker Houston, what do you think the story is? The story of the week. And if you guys aren't following her, you're missing out. And she said, to me or to the public? I said, to you, sis. That's why I'm asking you. And she said, the fact that measles were detected in the water in Austin. From the Austin American-Statesman, Austin Public Health finds measles in the water. It was in the wastewater, but do you see the sign there? It says, don't hesitate, vaccinate. That's the point of this story. I'll get to the lead right at the top, but let you know, Austin Public Health has found measles in Austin's wastewater. You can look up this article to get the details. The finding was from a sample taken July 6th. Austin Public Health tests the water in our sewage treatment plants for infectious diseases weekly, but it takes 2 weeks to get the results back. The July 6th test was the most recent test result. When the wastewater test comes back positive, it means that someone with the disease has used the bathroom in the Austin area, says Dr. Desmar Walks, the public health authority for Austin and Travis County. It is not clear from the results how many people might be infected with the disease locally, she said, to cause the positive test results. The bottom line, folks, she gives it. Now is the time to get vaccinated if you haven't gotten that protection. A little further down in the story, it talks about where the alarm bells are and how at least 95% of your population is supposed to have been vaccinated in order for it not to be considered an outbreak. They're below those numbers right now. I wonder why. Wonder why. Robert Kennedy Jr. I wonder why. Do you think it might have anything to do with your conspiracy theories? Do you think it might have anything to do with you trying to dissuade people from the necessity of getting the MMR? which keeps people safe from measles, which keeps us all from dying, especially the most vulnerable in our communities. So this uptick, there's a rhyme, there's a reason, there's a root to the story. And the bottom line is, and please take it from me, somebody who has had to filter through all of this. I've got a child on the autism spectrum. I understand what people go through. I know how all of the information is coming into your head and saying, but it could be this, but it could be this, but it might be this. But hear me. If we do not vaccinate, children will die. Adult measles are even more serious. Adults will die. People will be without moms, dads, daughters, sons, loved ones, friends. If you have not yet vaccinated, please do. And please continue to find reliable sources. I'd like to think that we are one, but please continue to find other reliable sources as well and read for yourself. That's why I always put sources, data, facts on the screen. Please continue to look up that information for yourselves. That's all I got for this week. I could have plenty more, but that's just it. That's all that time will allow. I hope we've given you some highlights so that you can direct your own personal inquiries forward. I hope that you will share the information that you heard here. And please support, if you're not subscribed to my channel, the Monique Pressley channel, please subscribe, please like this video, please share it. And hey, please support us with your giving. You can get into the super chat and do all the other things. Look in the caption to figure out the best ways. I want to thank you for coming and being with us day after day and week after week. And I want to tell you, the merch is back. Woohoo! If you haven't been to the Monique Pressley store lately, please visit. Black by popular demand. Are you pausing or are you finished? You can go to monique-presley.myshopify.com. Get your shirt. There's more merch coming. More merch coming. That's all I got for now. Until next time, stay safe out there.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.